To have all of you here on this, what is today, the 7th of May. This is a beautiful day in Oldham County, Kentucky. Couldn't ask for a prettier day, and we're happy you've all joined us. So if you brought a cell phone with you today, please turn it to off or vibrate. Now I'd like to ask everyone who's able to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Magistrate Likens.
Here.
Magistrate Tice.
Here.
Magistrate Harrison. Here. Magistrate Greenwell.
Here.
Magistrate Hounds.
Here.
Magistrate Hawkins. Here. Magistrate Dye.
Here.
Magistrate Logsdon.
Here.
Judge Vogel.
Here. Having all members of the fiscal court present, this meeting is now in session. Is there a motion to accept the agenda?
Second.
Are there any additions?
Judge, I believe we're going to add appointments to the Ethics Commission.
No, well, we have Ethics Commission on here. You mean Board of Adjustments?
Board of Adjustments.
Yes, right. Let's put that down below the, on board appointments under Ethics Commission. Any others? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now I'm going to ask our clerk, Sheila Fair, to please read the minutes from our last meeting, which was on April 16th.
April 16th, 2019. The Oldham County Fiscal Court convened at a regular meeting at 2 p.m. with Judge Executive David Vogel, County Attorney John Carter, and the following magistrates in attendance: Brent Likens, Wayne Tice, Albert Harrison, Steve Greenwell, Chris Hound, Stephanie Hawkins, Bob Dye, and Michael Logsdon. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell, seconded by Magistrate Dye to approve the agenda. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Hound, seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to approve the meeting minutes from April 2nd. Motion carried 8-0-1. Magistrate Likens abstained. Judge Vogel announced firework contract will be added to the agenda. Public comment. Amy Alvey, Assistant Planning Director, announced a public meeting 6 p.m. Thursday, April 25th at the John Black Center to discuss proposed changes to the county's comprehensive zoning ordinance. Ms. Alvey provided information on the upcoming fundraiser, Fashion and Fur Friends, benefiting Oldham County Humane Society, Saturday, April 20th from 12 to 4 at City Place. Bid openings for the spring paving projects. The following sealed bids for the referenced spring road paving projects were open and read aloud for the record. Group 1, Old Westport. Flynn Brothers, $447,850.64. Libs Paving, $369,394.52. Louisville Paving, $265,521.61. Matt Construction, $212,521.55. Wingham Paving, $303,158.88. Group 2, North Buckeye. Flynn Brothers, $458,326.15. Hall Contracting, $325,648.42. Libs Paving, $375,260.23. Louisville Paving, $266,460.96. Matt Construction, $297,806.47. Wingham Paving, $313,875.49. Group 3 in Pee Wee Valley. Hall Contracting, $82,996.27. Louisville Paving, $59,941.33. Matt Construction, $61,857.90. Group 4, Crestwood. All-Terrain Paving, $274,310.28. E&B Paving, $197,889.16. Flynn Brothers, $212,373.28. Hall Contracting, $181,754.99. Libs Paving, $174,309.55. Louisville Paving, $156,503.37. Matt Construction, $164,606.39. Wingham Paving, $172,327.38. Group 5 for LaGrange. All-Terrain Paving, $51,735.04. Flynn Brothers, $45,730.08. Hall Contracting, $41,013.88. Libs Paving, $37,415.03. Louisville Paving, $39,988.43. Matt Construction, $35,318.40. Wingham Paving, $32,565.35. County Administration, budget transfers. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Helms to approve the budget transfers for the 2018-19 budget. Motion carried unanimously. Payables. Motion made by Magistrate Helms and seconded by Magistrate Logsdon to approve the payables. Motion carried unanimously. Contract agreements and resolutions. Municipal Road Aid Funds Cooperative Agreement. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Logsdon to authorize the Judge Executive to sign the Municipal Road Aid Funds Cooperative Program Agreement with KYTC for fiscal year 2019-20. Motion carried unanimously. Resolution for the annual transportation of non-public school students. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Logsdon to authorize the Judge Executive to sign Resolution Number 0104-1619 relating to reimbursement of transportation costs for parochial school students. Motion carried unanimously. Committee recommendations and reports. Parks Committee 2019 fireworks contract. Motion made by Magistrate Harrison, seconded by Magistrate Likens, to authorize the Judge Executive to sign the contract with Andromeda Displays and Designs relating to 4th of July fireworks. Motion carried 8-1. Magistrate Logsdon voted no. Board appointments for the Ballardsville Fire Protection District Board. A moment of silence was observed in memory of David Manley, who passed away March 29, 2019. Motion made by Judge Vogel, seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to appoint Gene Crady to the Ballardsville Fire Board with a term to expire June 30, 2022, to fulfill the unexpired term of David Manley. Motion carried unanimously. Bid awards for the spring paving projects. Pee Wee Valley and City of Crestwood will award their road projects at their next respective city council meetings. City of LaGrange Public Works Director Corey Rusnak stated Wingham Paving will be awarded the Group 5 LaGrange Road Resurfacing Project for $32,565.35 by the City of LaGrange. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell, seconded by Magistrate Likens to award Group Number 1 Old Westport Road Resurfacing Project to Louisville Paving for $265,521.61, and Group 2 North Buckeye Road Resurfacing Project to Louisville Paving for $266,460.96, for a total combined amount of $531,982.57. Motion carried unanimously. Second public comment, none. Announcements. Magistrate Tice announced Cattleman's Roadhouse off New Moody Lane in LaGrange is expected to open around May 1st. Magistrate Harrison announced important changes involving the boat ramp at Westport. KYTC moved the road closure date back 2 weeks to May 6th. The bridge project should be completed by August 1st. Alternate route is East Highway 524, Covington Ridge Road. Upcoming military observance days. April 23rd is Army Reserve Birthday. April 30th is National Military Brats Day. May 1st is Silver Star Service Banner Day. Magistrate Greenwell shared a special memory of David Manley and offered his condolences. Magistrate Hawkins reminded everyone about the upcoming public meeting, 6 p.m., April 25th, at the John Black Center. Presentation by the Oldham County Planning and Development of the proposed changes to the comprehensive zoning ordinance. Information on proposed changes can be found on the Oldham County website under the Planning and Development Services webpage. She thanked the County Road Department and LaGrange Public Works for their quick response in clearing the roads after the tornado, April 12th. Magistrate Logsdon commented on the F1 tornado that came through last Friday, April 12th. In regards to residents disposing of tree limbs and other linked debris, a reminder that the county's burn ban begins May 1st. Judge Vogel announced South Oldham Little League's opening day was Saturday, April 13th, included a parade and a special memorial dedication at Peggy Baker Park for fallen Louisville Metro Police Detective Deidre Meganot. Judge Vogel announced this week is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week and thanked the Oldham County Dispatch Team for all the work they do. As a reminder, the non-emergency phone number to reach OC Dispatch is 222-0111. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell, seconded by Magistrate Dye to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried unanimously and the meeting adjourned at 3:55.
You've heard the reading of our minutes from April 16th. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved. Second.
Are there any corrections?
Yes, Judge.
Magistrate Greenwell.
I think on the Group 1 paving bids, Mac Construction is at $212,521. I think that's a misprint, I think. I don't have, we awarded the contract to Louisville Paving at $265, and so I think that figure at Mac must be higher than that.
All right, we'll.
Check
we'll-
on it
We'll
if it
check
is,
on
yeah.
that, all right. That award is going to be changed today, correct?
I'm sorry?
We didn't give it to the low bidder because the two low bidders did not complete the proper documentation.
Oh, okay, well, if that's the case, then,
So,
okay,
all right, so we're going to check that out.
okay.
Other, Jim, do you have something on that? That's a different project?
I believe we did award those to the two low bidders. You're thinking about a different agenda item.
Okay, yeah, okay, all right. Getting confused here, all right. Did anybody else, Albert, did you have something?
No, sir.
Okay.
Same thing.
Anyone else? All right, we'll make sure that number is correct, okay. No other objections, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Did you have the correct number, Melissa, or verification of that number?
Group 1, right?
Group 1,
For MAC 312.
okay,
521.
okay.
All right, we'll make note of that. I noticed that, I don't know, in my comments on the minutes there, being at Peggy Baker Park, and we had the dedication for the fallen Louisville police officer. Her son threw out the opening pitch, and they asked me to catch the opening pitch. I don't know if you included that in the minutes or not. Well, it was part of the highlights of the morning, because I did actually catch the opening pitch. He threw it, hit the ground about 10 feet before the plate, and I stuck my glove out there, and I did get it. And believe me, I was thrilled, so, I may need to correct the minutes on that. We're happy to have all of you here today. We always welcome anyone who would like to come from our community to, or visitors to attend our fiscal court meetings. I'd like to call out the special attention and welcome this afternoon to Larry Brown. Larry is here from the governor's office today, Department of Local Government, and came by to visit with us today, and we welcome you to Oldham County, Larry, and thank you for being here. It's time now for public comment, the time during our meeting. Anyone who would like to address the fiscal court is able to do so, and employee or citizen, and Becky Zocklin from our environmental department's here.
Thank you, Judge. This afternoon, I'd like to remind everyone that our first pick event for our campaign, our Leaders Don't Litter campaign, will be this Saturday from 10 to 12 a.m. We're hoping for good weather. We have participants, we have volunteers at every single Oldham County park, and more volunteers are always welcome. So if we have any more litter zealots out there, we're looking for you. Come on board and help us clean up our parks and collect litter and have some fun too. So, thank you.
All right, so anyone who would like to participate, we encourage you to do
age.
so. Any age, come out at any park, show up at any park near your home, and there will be people there to initiate any cleanup that we can do, picking up litter, garbage. And let's have a nice spring cleaning in our parks and set a good example for our kids.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Anyone else who would like to address the fiscal court? And we know this gentleman, but we ask everybody to state your name and address.
Jerry Rankin, the 1152 Peony Way, LaGrange. I'd like to invite all of you to South Oldham High School Saturday, May the 11th, at the Kentucky Veterans Memorial Park. They will be having a ceremony to recognize Gold Star families. And I don't know if all of you know or not, but there's 3 families in Oldham County that have Gold Star families from the Vietnam War, and my family being one of those. So you are being invited Saturday, May the 11th at South Oldham High School. We'll have an inside ceremony and then go out to the park for additional ceremonies. And I'd like to remind you all that this week is National Correctional Employees Week, which also includes the employees at the Oldham County Detention Center. You may not know, but these officers are sworn police officers, law enforcement officers. They can write citations. I wrote several citations when I was at the old jail and process them through the court. But please remember your correctional employees, especially at the reformatory. A couple of weeks ago, they had an officer injured over there by an inmate. So, when you're inside the walls, everybody doesn't hear what's going on. They just hear what's happening outside with the officers that carry the guns. And inside, they don't carry the guns. They actually have a whistle. If they blow a whistle, all the inmates around that hears that whistle are supposed to lay on the ground and do nothing. So that's their weapon. But you are invited this Saturday, May the 11th, 11 a.m., South Oldham High School.
Jerry,
Thank you. Sir.
Judge, if I could.
Yes, ma'am.
Some people may not know what you mean by Gold Star family. Would you just briefly explain that?
Gold Star families are families that have lost someone in a war. My brother was killed in the Vietnam War in 1967. It has been a project of mine to support any and all veterans, and this is a worthwhile endeavor. It's very emotional, and it's going to be even. My family has been asked to escort the American flag out that is being carried by veterans. And I would like to also give a shout out to the executive director of the park that just passed away 2 weeks ago, Don Helton, was very instrumental in getting this park started. And the executive board has voted last week to install a memorial plaque in the park in recognition of Don's service. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. All right, and we want to offer our condolences as a court and as a community to Ann Helton, whose husband died 2 weeks ago. Don Helton was, of course, the driver behind this park. He created the idea, found the property for it, and recruited board members and donors, and has done everything that has been in the lead all the way until cancer took him 2 weeks ago. So I'd ask for a moment of silence now for Don Helton. The Fiscal Court is proud to have been able to support the Veterans Memorial Park of Kentucky. We've donated there several times, helped with their golf tournament, and done other things to try to help build up the park. A few weeks ago, or maybe a little bit longer, we gave $5,000. We wanted, honestly, to give the money while Don was still here. We knew his health was bad, and helped bring some comfort to him, but it was in helping push the park forward. So thank you very much to Don, and our condolences to his widow, Ann. Is there anyone else who would like to address the Fiscal Court? Seeing no one, I'll close the public comment and go on to the first item on our agenda. We have some bid openings to take care of, and the first one is for road salt. We ask for 2,750 tons of road salt to be split in different ways between the Fiscal Court, Road Department, the Oldham County Board of Education, the City of LaGrange, and the City of Crestwood. Of course, each one of those other entities will be paying for their share. Our first bid is from Compass Minerals of America, Overland Park, Kansas, $89.65 per ton. The second bid is from Morton Salt Company of Chicago, $96.20 per ton. The third and final bid is from Detroit Salt Company, $86.74 per ton, up to 2,750 tons, delivery in 2 to 10 business days. And I'll give those to our county treasurer, Melissa Horn. Our next bid has to do with a diesel generator. I believe we have several companies that submitted bids. Generator. But this was a 100 kilowatt rated, 120 to 240 volt. It's a backup generator. Cummins sales and service, $26,335, although it says see addendum on page 3, which I'm going to let Melissa look at that. Next one is from Evapar, $23,600. Grand Watt Electric Corporation, $48,860. Ramsey Bledsoe Corporation, Santa Rosa, California, $25,150. And there's a second item here, $27,995. So, did we have two generators?
Yeah.
Which one is
That one
which?
on the left.
$27,995, I guess, for the generator.
But they're not listed on the natural gas, are they?
No, because I couldn't tell the name of the company from the envelope.
Okay.
It's the LEAP, yeah, it was a guess.
Technology International, $39,600. The next bid has to do with one industrial natural gas engine backup generator here. Is it same bid?
One's diesel,
One's natural gas, one's diesel, okay. This one is $20,710 from Cummins Sales and Service. $20,710. That's Cummins. The next bid is Evapar, $19,800. The third bid is from, well, Grand Watt, $38,470.
Technology International.
Sorry, Ramsey Bledsoe,
Line two.
$25,150. Final bid, Technology International, $34,150. All right, thank you. We appreciate all vendors who have submitted bids on our request. The next item of business here are the payables. Every 2 weeks, we pay the bills, and when the magistrates are ready, I'll accept a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. The next item has to do with our audit engagement, and Melissa, would you like to review that with the court?
We would like to give our audit for fiscal year 19 to the same firm that did it last year, which is Roy Hunter. The auditor's name is Ed Lentz, and it's for the same amount as last year, which is $14,850.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded that we retain Roy Hunter, once again, for $14,850 as our auditor. It's considerably less expensive than we're charged by the state auditor, so that this money goes right to the bottom line of the general fund. Are there any questions about that, or the comments?
Same scope of work, basically.
Yes.
Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item under community business here, item C, has to do with the first reading of our fiscal year 1920 budget. You have the budget there in front of you. The total county budget anticipated for the next fiscal year, all sources, is $39,813,779.66. The budget is broken up into the general fund and then funds for specific departments, including road, jail, local government assistance, our dispatch, the police, and a road maintenance fund that we maintain for emergencies. So this is more or less a formality because the first reading is posted on the internet for all people in the community to look at and examine. It's sent to the Department of Local Government, where the state local debt finance officer examines the budget to make sure it complies with all aspects of state law, and then is, assuming it does, which it generally always does, it's returned to us for a second reading, which would take place on the first meeting in June. At that time, the public is invited to comment on anything in the budget, and magistrates are free to make any adjustments or changes they feel are needed. So, is there anyone that'd like to make any comments at this point?
Only
Magistrate
comment,
Dye.
I don't make comment on the budget, but I believe it's got second reading on here, on the cover page. I believe that the intent here is to keep this to the second reading. So make your notes on this, your work copy, and you'll have it here. And I'm assuming that's what you're trying to do, because I don't know why it would have second reading on there. Trying to save some paper.
You would like to comment, Melissa?
I don't know.
That's the date of the second reading, and that's all that page is meant to be, is informational that that's our plan.
We can still use it for the work copy.
Right. The next sheet is the one we will submit on the top of the budget. So we, at the next, when we read this a month from now, when we have second reading, I plan to make an address to the county about what's in the budget, and also outline our capital improvement plans that we have. We have many things underway in Oldham County. People are aware of some of them. They're not aware of everything. Some have to do with the interstate, public safety. Others have to do with expanding our economic development and our parks program. And, of course, one of the key issues that we'll be dealing with for the next 2 years is the reconstruction and expansion of the Oldham County Courthouse. So those are all items that are major that we'll be involved with, and so there will be a certain transformation in some respects of things happening in our county. So I'll address all those at the beginning of the second reading. Are there any other comments for today on this? Right, hearing none, we'll go on to the first reading now of the change in the procurement code for the administrative, our administrative code. So, Melissa, would you like to go through that, please?
Stayed up here.
Right.
Sorry.
You better to sit in the first row.
Yes, it would have been. What we are asking to do today is to amend our administrative code. This is Chapter 4, the Procurement Code. House Bill 26 passed at the end of the last session, and that moved the bid minimum from $20,000 to $30,000. And so because we are state model procurement, that automatically becomes in effect for us. However, our small purchases definition had to be altered to match that change in the state law. So that is what you see there. Under Section 3, small purchases, we're simply changing 20,000 to 30,000. And then above that, in Section 2 of the code, we need to add language about the purchase of vehicles. We had a potential audit comment that was later retracted because the state auditor has suggested we adopt this language. It allows us to buy vehicles on the state contract price from other vendors who will honor that price. So adding this to our administrative code covers that practice.
All right, so this is that's a summary of the first reading. This will also be posted on the Oldham County Fiscal Court website, and we'll be taking this up in a month, first meeting in June. Any questions on it while Melissa was still here? All right, thank you. Now we're on to the second reading of, and this reading will be a public hearing. These are proposed changes to our animal control ordinance. And I'd like our Animal Control Director, Polly Helton, to come forward and summarize the changes that are proposed for the Animal Control Ordinance. This will be a public hearing, so after Ms. Helton makes her remarks, I will give an opportunity to anyone who's here who would like to speak for or in opposition to the changes. Will have an opportunity to do so.
So basically, this amendment would allow us to microchip any dog upon intake who is not already microchipped. This helps with record keeping, keeping track of repeat offenders, as well as getting the animals back home in a more timely fashion. It also has to do with community cats, exempting them excuse me, from the 5-day stray hold, which reduces our euthanasia rate. It also, it's been proven as the best management practice for reducing the number of feral cat colonies, as well as it's just better for the health of all cats.
All right, so we're going to put transponders in the dogs that don't have them.
Yes.
That come in contact with the shelter, and then we're going to clip the ears of community cats. That's any cat that happens to be out walking around, I guess, that we get our hands on that way, and that cat will be neutered, if not neutered, and that will indicate the cat has been neutered. We used to all hear about how fast rabbits multiplied, but cats are certainly a close second, and they may be, there's a ton of them around. So we need to be able, we have a building at the animal control that houses many cats, correct? We still have that there?
Yeah, actually, our numbers have gone from over 100 cats housed at the shelter to 8.
Great.
Because
Well,
we're doing this.
I was there when it had 100, and I didn't want to make a second visit, to be honest about it. I went in there, and I was kind of overwhelmed by all the cats. So we want to manage these animals properly and be humane to all animals and treat them well, and we'll do that through this ordinance. So, all right. So, thank you. Is there anybody here that would want to speak to or in favor of or in opposition to changes to the ordinance? Okay, I'll close the public hearing now, go on to the magistrates and see if we have a proposal to approve this.
Judge, this came before the Public Safety Committee, and it was passed by the Public Safety Committee unanimous. I'd like to make a motion that we adopt ordinance AOC 19-840-504.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded, that this ordinance repealing and replacing KOC 12-840-138 and establishing a comprehensive county dog licensing and animal control ordinance to permit the management of the community cat population. And I'm going to skip the whereas and so on and so forth here, but does anybody have a second?
Second, Judge.
Did you? All right, we've got a second. So is there any discussion on it?
Yes. I have a question for Polly. Got away too quickly. She and I have discussed this on the phone, but I just wanted it on the record. And we're in the definition section on KK for service animal. I work with and have several friends who suffer from various injuries from combat activity. And I just want to make sure that they would be covered with their service animals. Their service animals are all licensed, and they wear identifications for them. In particular, they help people with PTSD. That's not something visible that somebody else can see. And I just want to make sure that they are covered, their animals would be covered under this ordinance.
Yes, this definition is the Americans with Disability Act's definition of service animal. If an animal is trained to perform a certain task for someone who has been identified to have a disability, their animal is covered under the service animal. What is not covered under service animal are therapy animals, but therapy animals are covered under the Fair Housing Administration. This basically is in here for people who go into Walmart with their little dogs, and Walmart does not allow small animals in their store. This is just so people have a definition of what a true service animal is.
All right, now you've raised another concern. Because I met a gentleman a couple of years ago, and I think he was probably 6'6", 6'7", close to 300 pounds, and his service animal, licensed service animal, was a Chihuahua. And you would never question him about that because the animal dealt with his emotional distress.
Right.
The animal can sense when it was building up by his heartbeat, perspiration, all those elements. And it somehow or another brought peace and calmness to him. And a guy that big, I wanted something to bring peace and calmness to him.
But that would still be a service animal.
It would be covered.
You can ask them if they, if this dog performs a task for them. You can't ask them anything about their disability. You can ask them if they are required to have a service animal and what that animal does for them. What task do they serve?
Yeah, see, well, I don't understand what's meant by a task. Well, the dog doesn't fetch anything, it just provides emotional comfort.
That, if it calms
cal-
them,
okay.
anxiety, calming anxiety, that is a task that it has been trained to do.
Great, thank you.
Are there any other questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. The next item under community business is item F, and that's the first reading of the proposed zoning map amendment for the Buckner Point storage area that has been proposed. On, I believe, April 23rd, the Planning Commission approved this zoning map amendment, and now it's come to fiscal court for a first reading. It'll have a second reading on May 21st, okay? And so this is, read an ordinance relating to a change in the Oldham County zoning map, rezoning 2.9 acres of a tract located at the intersection of Kentucky 1817, which most of us know as Cedar Point Road, and West Highway 146 in Buckner, from the existing I-2 heavy industrial zoning district to C3 commercial general business district. So that is the owner of the property. Danny Perkins is here today. He's proposing that a storage facility be located on that tract of land. So this is a public announcement. We'll have it on the fiscal court website, and then we'll take this up again on the 21st of May. Anyone has any questions?
Yes, thank you, Judge. When we come back for the second reading, Dan, will there be a plat accompanying this with a description, a plat that we can see?
There'll be a full presentation by staff and the applicant, similar to what you would see at the planning commission level.
Got it, okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
All right. We'll move on now to, under contract agreements and resolution, item G. We have the annual reimbursement agreement from the Administrative Office of the Courts for us to sign. And Melissa, or would you like to refer to that?
This is our annual agreement with the Administrative Office of the Courts for the building across the street. They reimburse us $4 a square foot plus a use allowance. So the amount for next year would be $295,700. This is up just a little bit from last year, and although the square footage didn't increase, I don't know why. Last year it was $292,900.
All right. So, of course, I mentioned earlier that we're in the process of designing a renovation and the expansion to the courthouse. The former Oldham County Jail will be taken down. An addition will be built in that location on 2nd Street. The existing courthouse will likely be remodeled. We certainly intend to try to keep the historic features of the courthouse, although it has to be determined whether or not the old courthouse section, when you look at the courthouse, you think it's all old, but it's actually not all old. The main part that you see from Main Street has been there since 1871 or 72, plus some of the facade heading back, but the courthouse was greatly expanded, and new addition was put in like 1993, I believe, right about then. So quite a bit of the courthouse is actually not historic. It's not, but there is a piece in the front that's been there from not the beginning, but from 1871 or 72. So how that'll all be worked together, and the Administrative Office of the Court lays out a plan regarding how much space is allocated in the courthouse to restrooms, jury rooms, courtrooms, office space, and so forth, and all that has to be worked around within the expansion and within any existing building that's maintained. So in the meantime, it's very likely we're going to have to move most, if not all, of the people out of the courthouse building when the work begins there. A solicitation has been advertised for space in Oldham County, preferably downtown, that would be able to house the courthouse operations for about a 2-year period, beginning next spring. So we'll see how that goes, and I'm not exactly sure how this allocation fits into that, but it may be that this is the amount of money they have to rent space with as well. But for the time being, here's what it's going to be for most of this coming fiscal year, but not the entire fiscal year, because we'll probably be out of there by this time next year, or shortly thereafter. All right, so is there a motion to accept this?
Second.
Any discussion on it? It doesn't really need to be much. This is sort of a take it or leave it circumstance, and we always take it. So, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now we have a lease agreement for Congressman Thomas Massey's office here. Every year we give them an office facility. It was in the former Methodist Church building. We moved them over to the courthouse annex behind the PVA building. We signed this agreement. It can be broken by either party within 30-day notice. We don't charge them anything to be in there. We consider it a public service to have our congressional representative, regardless of party, be able to have an access space that's accessible for constituents, for some of the staff members to meet with here at the courthouse. So is there a motion that we renew this lease?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion about it? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item on our agenda is item I, Health Services Agreement at the Detention Center. I think our Chief Financial Officer will get his chance now. You've been Stan Clark.
Okay, you have in front of you, we have a contract for health services at the detention center, and it has built into the original contract CPI indexes and whatnot. And what this amendment does is uses the 3% CPI onto the rate. But the other thing we did, the contract originally written was for a population of 250 in the facility, plus a per day rate for every inmate over that amount. It's modified now. The new agreement is on 300 inmates is what we assume will be in there at all times, plus an additional amount per day when we exceed 300. Right now, our averages are always over 300. So there's savings in that rate. The extra cost per day, if we're over the 300, is $1.29 per inmate per day that we run over. And so it's basically acknowledgement of the CPI of the contract and the increasing the inmate average population to 300. Any questions?
All right, is there, the jail committee have a recommendation on this?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
It appears as though it's $6.
Well, how about, why don't we get
I'm
the
sorry.
motion on the floor and then ask a question, okay? Chris? Or-
We didn't bring it before the jail committee. We got it, I guess on Friday, but I don't think anybody has any heartburn with it.
Something we need to do.
Yep.
All right, so we've got a motion, is there a second?
I'll make the second.
Okay. Now we'll have Magistrate Hawkins.
It's about $6.21 per inmate per day.
Correct.
Is that an increase or a decrease from what it was before?
It's a decrease. There's a lot of staff in there, and so the original contract, if you use it for 250 inmates, is over $7 a day. But 7 something a day. This is like $1 less per inmate, because as we've put more inmates in there, the fixed cost is all the staffing and stuff. The instrumental cost is supplies and utilization of different things. So that's why the cost has dropped down. But it's very important to realize that there's a significant per day cost of inmates, and we provide. So, that's a valuable service. Mike Simpson, the jailer, will probably speak to it, but providing that high level of care and keeping them in one way required by law to take care of it and provide, we land up saving money in the long term in cost by not having to deal with problems and stuff. I mean, it's every time a new inmate comes in, there's certain tests that have to be run, things that have to be looked for and whatnot. So there's a cost to that.
Thank you.
Right.
Magistrate Hounds.
Judge, I guess it's a question. I don't know if Stan's the person answered or Jailer Simpson, but as these costs increase, we don't have any opportunity to increase the per day rate for the non-Oldham County inmates.
Well, what it is, we have a federal per diem rate that we've agreed to for 5 years, and then we can revisit based on cost. County, we have to provide for. Other counties, it's what we've agreed to, and we haven't currently agreed to. And then the big thing is the state contract. They haven't increased their rate to us in years. It's been asked for. We have no real control over that. So
Mike's got an
Mike
answer.
can
Well-
speak to it.
Chris, thank you for the question. I think one of the, I'm sure I was trying to hear back here, it was a little bit difficult for some reason. One of the things we are doing on our county, other counties, like Henry and Trimble that we're doing, their contract is being renewed July 1st, and we've actually going up from 34 to 35. So there is a slight increase there, because we have become their number one provider again. Trimble County does house some people in Carroll, but we're pretty much their number one provider, so.
And if we're not having to transport these inmates to care facilities, that's a savings to that individual county, right?
Absolutely. That was one of the benefits when we went 24/7. So anything that we can do on site and triage, we even actually now have mobile x-ray that come on site. Where old school, we used to even, for a simple x-ray, we'd have to do all of that. So there's some really, from a transport side, security side, we're keeping them on site and be able to manage their medical needs.
All right. Hang on a second, Mike, and let's finish this, and then I'd like to ask you a question or two.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions on the Southern Health Partner contract? All right, motion and second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Thank you.
As long as you're here, why
Yes.
don't you maybe give us a, 2-minute update on the
Okay.
status of how many people are in our facility and what's going on?
Sure, absolutely. Well, one of the things I will share with the court, again, it wasn't really on the agenda, but thank you, Judge, for giving me the opportunity. Our full body scan x-ray machines are now on site and have been installed. Both of them. We have not started the training part of it yet. That's yet to come. Our vendor that we ended up going with is scheduling that. Hopefully that's going to start in the next week to 10 days. Okay? So I'd share that with the court. The other thing, our numbers, and I can't remember the last time what I shared with the court, Judge, but I just shared it with Stan before today. This coming Monday, we're having 2 representatives from Indianapolis, because we're actively involved in trying to enter into agreement with federal inmates coming out of the state of Indiana. And I don't know how much you want me to share, but I can let everybody know that we're excited about the meeting. The U.S. Marshal and his one of the deputy marshals from Indianapolis will be in our office on this coming Monday to meet. We've learned a little bit via some phone conversations that we've had, but we're very excited about the opportunity, what this financially is going to mean. Theoretically, right now, they're like everyone else. There is such a huge bed shortage on the federal level for housing, local. They do the same thing as in Kentucky. They utilize their jails just like the feds do here in Kentucky. So this kind of started a few weeks ago. Received a phone call, and they needed 100 beds. So we're going to see where it takes us. Again, if it goes in the direction that I hope that it does, Judge, what's going to happen there is, as Stan mentioned to you on our Southern Health Partners contract, we raised the average daily population from 250 to 3. We may have to readdress that depending on how things go again. But right now, if this,
Right.
so.
Well, the long and short of it is we're trying to get the jail up to the brim as far as the capacity, and then also at the same time try to convert as many of those bed spaces into the best reimbursement opportunity that we can achieve. And federal people are pay better than state people is what it
Well, the per diem rate
boils
is
down to, yeah.
quite a bit higher. In addition to that, and I was, again, just trying to keep everybody on, up to par on what we're talking about, the federal inmates also pay for all medical costs. That is a huge potential number, whereas a state inmate all across Kentucky, it's not just for our facility. If we have a state inmate in our facility, they're actually looked upon as an Oldham County inmate. Now, we get a per diem from the state, but if it's medical, we pay for that. So we transfer all of this to federal inmates, and they're picking up the medical bill. That's a big number. That's so.
Well, $20 a day times $365 days a year is, $7,000 more a year per individual.
It
So
could-
if you had 100 people doing that,
You follow the numbers, it's gonna be a big one, believe me.
Yeah, it has a big impact.
When we talked to the jail committee meeting a while back, you were talking about what is the number that you can house in the jail? And I'm going to use the term, and I may be wrong, if you added the boats?
Basically, Chris, the way that works, I will say this. We've been in our facility, we just finished, we've been there 16 months. In Kentucky, most every full-service jail is at capacity or exceeds capacity upwards to 175%. We are not, even though we've been there for 16 months. So we've controlled this very, very much from the beginning. We have 30 10-person housing units. So remember that number just for the moment. Each one of those 30 10-person has the ability, when we designed this, we put extra square footage in every one of those 10-person housing units. Whereas, if we wanted to add one boat, it's a prefab, we've used them for 15, 18 years, put one of those in every one of the 10-person cells, simple number, that's increased, without doing anything, 30 beds. Now, as Judge just did some math, you take 30 times whatever number you want to pick. Counties pay us $34, getting ready to go to 35. State pays us around 32. Feds pay us around 57. So pick the number, times 30, times
Starts adding
365
up.
days a year. You can see what that means.
A boat is something that looks like a little boat that sits out on the floor. It's a bed that is on the floor and not just a mat laying on the floor.
Yeah, Judge,
It's
it does. What it does, it elevates it off the floor about 10 inches. It meets all state and federal regulations for temporary housing. Now, you can look up that, what's temporary. And then we put a mattress actually on top of that. So they get that. And it's interesting how it's worked in all my years of doing this, and especially when we have, and we do have them in the new one, we have the triple bunks. So if I'm that resident versus climbing up 3 flights, that boat hits the floor, I'm on that. And they love, I'm telling you, they just amazing. They'd rather be there than have to climb up to the 3rd level of the bunk. But so.
Okay, well,
And one more reminder, thank you, Justin. I just want to remind everybody, 2 weeks from today, I had mentioned this to the court, the National Conference, American Jail Association, is coming to Louisville. 1,500 to 2,000 people that come in from all of the United States. And the leadership of that organization has picked our facility to come and showcase. They will be coming out on 2 weeks from today around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We get the opportunity to showcase our facility and walk a group of people through it, and we're going to be very proud. I've got them working, cleaning, scrubbing walls and floors and the cracks, and to make sure everything is in place, Judge. I've contacted the Oldham area because I think it's an opportunity for us to be proud of something that we've committed to. And I've got some of the news channels that will be there on site. So hopefully we'll get some good PR from this. And so 2 weeks from today, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That could change because I'm not sure exactly, but I know May 21st.
all right, thank you, Mike. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Judge.
I think I'll just add that all of this discussion about funds and how much we collect at the jail and so forth, the entire effort of building a new county detention center was to try to provide this service to house Oldham County inmates at the least cost possible to the county. And we've had to take a long journey, so to speak, to get to that point, but we're getting to that point and where every county has a jail incarceration program, whether it's in that county or the county hires another county to take care of its prisoners. But every county incurs this cost. We built the detention center to attempt to incur the least possible cost to the people of Oldham County. So where we were losing, so to speak, $700,000 to $800,000 a year in the past to operate this program, we're trying as hard as we can to get to a point where we break even. We don't, and not lose anything. So we only have 40 Oldham County people probably in the jail, but you have to have a staff around the clock, men and women and so forth. Just having a few people costs you as much as having a much larger group when you're collecting money from the larger group. So anyway, that's what our goal was when we got into this about 5 years ago, and we're heading toward that, with making good progress. Next item on the agenda has to do with Coca-Cola vendor agreement, I believe, for our Parks Department. Tim Curtis.
Good afternoon, Judge, magistrates. The vendor agreement is for Coca-Cola to provide fountain drink service for the aquatic center for the upcoming pool season. We have used Pepsi over the last number of years, but Coca-Cola has come to us with an agreement that we believe will be beneficial to the county. It's considerable savings from where we were with Pepsi. And they're also providing us with $250 in sponsorship money, $500 in marketing support, which they said we could use for if we buy some new umbrellas for guard chairs. They'll put money toward that. So besides being less expensive on the product, they're also helping us in some other ways. So it's a good time for a switch to Coke. The county attorney reviewed the agreement and had a question about one of the items on the agreement. You might see that note down there at the bottom. It says, subject to deletion of item 16. And I would probably defer to the county attorney as far as why we thought that should be deleted.
Yes, without too much detail, item 16 is equitable relief to which Coca-Cola is not entitled to on a contract. They're asking for specific performance of the contract. If we default, which they can't get unless we sign it that way, but they've agreed to withdraw that. So all we have to do is mark it out and have you initial it when you sign
Right. Magistrate Harrison, does the Parks Committee have a recommendation on this? No, we didn't. Did you look at it, or?
No, we do not.
Didn't come, okay. All right. Is there anyone who would like to make a motion that we go forward on
I'd
this?
make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All right. Moved and seconded that we sign the agreement with Coke here for the pool. Okay. Any discussion? Magistrate to Hounds.
Tim, a couple of comments. One is, I'm assuming we're just swapping out one product vendor for another, so there's no electrical concerns or anything with the facility?
Correct.
Okay. The insurance piece, I'm sure you and Melissa will take care of that. I just read through it quickly, but looks like they provide everything that we need except for maybe cups.
Right. We get cups through Trumpeter, I do believe.
Through what, I'm sorry?
Trumpeter, who provides our other napkins and those sort of items.
Okay.
Not through the soda vendor, but through another company.
Okay, just, I've only messed with a contract like this one other time, but they provided the cups as part of the contract. I don't know if it's worthwhile asking them.
It'd probably be worth, we could ask, they are providing us with this marketing support and this other money, maybe they'd be willing to provide.
I mean, I walk around with a cup that says Coke on it.
It's like an ad. It's a free ad.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
It's probably worth an ask.
Something I'm asking for. And then the savings, I mean, when you sell the fountain drinks, are we keeping the price the same as we had it before, or have you gotten that far in the process?
I believe we will need to keep them similar to where they were before, because we didn't make quite an appropriate profit margin before. So now we will be keeping our prices about where they are. So we would like to probably keep them the same, but we'll make more money as a result of the savings that we're getting through Coke.
Okay.
Is that accurate?
All right, anyone else? Did we have a motion on this in a second? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now we have the erosion control bond release for the,
Excuse me.
excuse me,
I'm going to make a recommendation that we award the road salt contract today, but I'm
Okay.
also going to ask for a 5-minute recess before we do that. So somewhere in here,
okay,
doesn't matter to me.
okay. Let's see, how about if we do it before personnel appointments?
sounds
That'd
good.
be all right? Okay. I think we can go through this stuff pretty quickly. We've got our erosion control release for Cattleman's Restaurant, new restaurant in LaGrange. We're very happy to have Cattleman's here. It's a good addition to our community. Had a nice lunch there today, so encourage everybody to stop by there. Jim?
Yeah, so the permittee they've constructed the site and stabilized it in accordance with the erosion control, construction site runoff ordinance in the county to an acceptable manner. So I recommend that we release the bond to the permittee in the amount of $14,820.
I'll make that motion.
Moved and seconded that the erosion control bond in the amount of $14,820 for Cattleman's Roadhouse be released. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to compliment our magistrate, Brent Likens, who assisted with engineering work on the site at Cattleman's, and it's come out to be really nice. So good job, Brent.
Thank you.
Next item here is HR Grants and Technology Committee recommendations. Magistrate Logston.
Yes, sir. In front of y'all, you have the list of the 2018-19 Oldham County Fiscal Court Grant awardees. I guess at this time, I would like to have Rebecca come up and explain to us how and what the process is of awarding these grants, and then we can go through each one of them individually if y'all want.
Okay. Thank you, Magistrate Logston. The county accepts grant applications from nonprofits in Oldham County or that serve Oldham Countyans. And we have a specific grants policy that was adopted in 2016 that outlines exactly what those causes are. They're for arts and humanities, for social services, and for recreation. The process of reviewing these applications is done by the Grants Committee. And the Grants Committee was given the list of applications or the applications themselves, I believe in the first meeting in February. Is that correct, Magistrate Logston? Yeah, yes. And they arrived at their decision of how to distribute the, at that point in time, $40,000 in funds to these worthy nonprofit charities serving Oldham County. And so what you see is the list here. And I say only 40,000 because we had already given, as Judge Vogel mentioned, the $5,000 toward Veterans Memorial Park that was actually given in the fall. The American Red Cross was given $5,000. CASA of the River Region was given $3,000. Let me back up and explain what these things are for. Red Cross provides emergency assistance to Oldham Countyans who are in some sort of financial distress. CASA of the River Region provides an advocate for children in our courts. Creasy Mahan Nature Preserve, $8,000 was dedicated toward their playground project. The
Handicapped.
yes, and it's ADA compliant playground, Forest Friends playground. And that has been a continuing cause. We recognize Creasy Mahan also because it does provide recreation and park service to that quadrant of the county that is not served by county government. Crossroads Pregnancy Resource Center, we designated $6,500 toward parenting education and meeting the needs of young parents who may or not anticipating the arrival of a child. Dare to Care provides emergency food for families in need, and we designated $5,000 toward them. Hope Health Clinic provides low-cost health care for families in Oldham County in need with low or no coverage or insurance coverage. $4,500 is designated toward them. The Humane Society of Oldham County provides animal rescue and adoption services, and they are also undergoing currently a capital campaign to build on the piece of property that was given to them generously by an Oldham County citizen. And our gift of $4,500 is matched by a generous donor.
So that 4,500 will actually be 9,000 to them.
Exactly, yes. Kentucky Mesonet, we were giving a gift of $1,000, and this organization provides atmospheric and barometric information so that we can have accurate weather information here in the county for the benefit of our dispatch services and emergency services.
And farming community.
And the farming community, thank you. And finally, the gift of $2,500 to Operation Parent, which provides support and education to families of middle school and high school, well, children of all ages, school-age children, to keep them informed about difficulties that their children may encounter as they progress through their grades. So, any questions?
Judge, I
Let's,
guess,
you want
before we
Measure
go
Dogs to
forward,
make a
I'd like to
motion?
make a motion, then we can discuss it. Judge, I'd like to make a motion that we accept these items before us, a total of $45,000 for the 2018-19 grant awardees, please.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, all right, discussion? Magistrate Hounds?
I guess I'm struggling with only one, and that's the amount to Creasy Mahan. It seems like the majority of the rest of these are services for people in need or children. And it seems like that we're given the largest amount, and I get it, it's for a ADA compliant playground. But to me, it would seem like American Red Cross or CASA or Dare to Care or Crossroads or Hope Health would have more of a need for the dollars than Creasy Mahan.
Okay. Well, that is, of course, all these are subjective. And the one thing about that particular award, it is, I think you make the point that we don't have a park right now in North Oldham. We had hoped to have one, but it didn't work out so far. This asset, many of these other donations are for, I'm going to pick the right word here, they're for intangible results. In other words, counseling for kids, shelter, temporary shelter for somebody, and so forth. There isn't a permanent nature to them. They're wasting assets is not the right word. It's they're evaporating over time. Where in this particular case, it is something tangible that will stand in the future. So, and so that's one particular difference about it.
And Judge, a point I'd like to make is that Creasy Mayhan's need will end. This is a capital project in building this playground, whereas these other nonprofits, it's going to be an ongoing need. So if you look at the gift over time, it's a continuous source of support.
Judge, would it be inappropriate for me to make a comment?
Acceptable to the court? Okay.
I'm Tom Henryon, and I think most of you know Tavia. She couldn't be here today and asked me to come. But a couple really, I think, important comments. We've partnered now with Cedar Lake Lodge, and that's why this playground is handicapped accessible. And so it is, I think Cedar Lake Lodge and we are tied together. And also Creasy Mayhan, it's free. There are a lot of poor people in the county. And it's open to, it's going to be a great playground. It already is, but we're adding to it. And, it's open 24/7. There's no cost of admittance. It's just a really great facility for that part of the county. So I just wanted to throw those comments out.
All right, thank you, Tom. Well, all right, well, I won't say, does that satisfy your, yeah, you could make any recommendation to scramble these numbers if you want to as well. I mean, these are a recommendation from the committee, as I understand it, right? So it's not cast in stone, it's just the evaluation of what's out there. Magistrate Likens.
Yes, Judge. As chair of that committee, for the Grants Committee, we actually sent a questionnaire type census around all the committee members, and everybody put how much they would recommend for each one of these. We totaled them up, divided by 4 or 5. I can't remember how many people were on there, but that's how we came up to these numbers. It was an average of, some people put 2,000, some people put 6. I mean, we would average that up, and we came to this consensus by committee.
Mm-hmm.
Magistrate Harrison.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge. I think it's interesting and maybe relevant to keep in perspective how much money we're talking about, because we just had the first reading of the proposed budget for the county, and we're talking about 1/10 of 1% of the county budget for a facility in an area that provides something that's not available anyplace else in the county. And for those of you who don't know Tavia Cathcart, you need to go over there and meet her, because they have programs there that are not available anyplace else in the county. They have a site unlike anything else in the county. And I have no problem at all supporting it. I think it should be, again, it goes back to, it's an amenity for the county. It's an attraction for the county. People will move here for things like that. And I applaud them for having the vision that they do and for all the activities they have over there. And granted, a lot of people not in Oldham County go over there. I had a picnic lunch the other day at the city park in Carrollton. Nobody checked to see if I was an Oldham, Carroll County resident. It's a public park. It's a service we provide. I think we need to keep that focus. Thank you.
Are there any other comments about this? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Motion carries 8-1. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is the bid award recommendation for the park and ride at Apple Patch. Belinda Demas is, could you help us on that?
Judge,
Yes, sir.
in light of the recent name change, should we be calling this Pillar and not Apple Patch?
Yeah, maybe,
The
but.
project has a name that carries with it through all of our documentation with the state and with KIPTA, so that's why we've
I
retained
got
it
it.
as
All right,
that.
fine. Thank you.
When we're talking about it in documents. and
Once
things
this
like
is
that.
totally closed out, it'll be Pillar for us from here on out, but we're still not totally closed out with the whole thing.
I still like Apple Patch.
Yeah. Well, you know, you're probably not alone on that.
And for reference, we got a project, it's called the Buckner Connector. It's actually the extension of Commerce Parkway, but we keep calling it the Buckner Connector, so.
All right, go
Once
ahead.
they name it, we stick with it. Bids were opened for construction of the Park and Ride at Apple Patch project on April 2nd. This is the bid award to Mack Construction and Excavating, Inc., the responsive low bidder at $1,539,000. The Park and Ride will be located near Exit 14 in Crestwood on property formerly owned by Apple Patch, now Pillar. The lot will hold over 100 vehicles and will cover 3.59 acres. It will include a shelter, bike lockers, and walkways. The new access road, Apple Patch Place, will be approximately 1,000 feet and will be built on an additional 1.37 acres to allow buses to enter and exit the property. Construction of this project is funded with a combination of $749,196 in federal CMAQ, congestion mitigation and air quality grant funds, and $1,057,320 in federal surface transportation dollars. A land donation valued at $286,000 from Apple Patch is being used as matching funds for the CMAQ grant, and the Transportation Cabinet has granted us toll credits to match the surface transportation funds. The Transportation Cabinet has reviewed the bid and given us authorization to proceed with Mack Construction and Excavating, and we are asking Fiscal Court to approve this bid award.
This is the item I was referring to earlier, got confused for a second. This was bid previously. Two other bidders actually were lower bidders, but didn't complete the paperwork right.
That's
It's
correct.
a
They were-
circumstance very analogous to the Derby, where the horse that won didn't win because of a violation. The bidders the MAC was actually the third lowest bidder on this project, but the prior two were disallowed because of a violation. So that's where we are.
It's just passed.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion that we accept this contract.
Second.
Is there any discussion on this?
Judge, I do have a comment. I think that the county owes a great debt to the Apple Patch organization and the original founders. I mean, I know this thing, Melinda, me and you talked about it for over 8 years, somewhat.
Long time.
And when did it all start? How many years ago?
About 2011.
So I guess government does move a little slow, but I'm going to ask you one more time. When's the bulldozer going to be there?
And I can tell you honestly, we're going to bring the contract hopefully back at the next fiscal court with MAC, assuming you guys approve this, and we've got a notice to proceed, so it should start this summer.
All right, good deal.
All right, I think we have a representative from MAC here. Would you like to shed any light on that?
We will start just as soon as we get all the paperwork in order, and we want to complete it.
All right, he said that they'd start as soon as all the paperwork is in order. Okay,
The last check's dependent upon it.
all right, Measure Logs.
Once this is open, will the other one shut down?
Yes.
The other one being the Park and Ride on Commerce Parkway.
No,
No.
it's the one in Crestwood. It's
Oh.
on a.
Oh,
It's-
you mean,
it's like,
okay.
yeah,
Okay,
at the bypass.
at the
intersection.
Okay,
the
other
old
side of
329
Five Star.
Yeah, the old 329 and 329 bypass, right.
So they won't make two stops.
That's correct.
Measure Likens.
Thank you. Belinda, good job on getting all this together. I know when things come together, people forget about all the hard work that was done for years. Could you go over one more time for me and tell me where the money's coming from for this project? That's where I was fuzzy.
This started as a congestion mitigation and air quality grant, which comes out of Frankfurt. When we found a few years ago that we were not going to have enough money, we asked for SLO funds, which are surface transportation dollars that we use for lots of federally funded projects. So we asked for toll credits to match that surface transportation funds. So the state has granted us those, so we don't owe any cash match on that. The match for the CMAQ dollars is being donated to us in the form of a land donation that Apple Patch gave us early on when we did the right-of-way phase of this. So there's also no cash involved in that
That's where I was.
from fiscal court.
But there were two small cash matches, one from the city of Crestwood and one from the county.
Right, which we spent a small portion of. I think it was about $6,000 each, Fiscal Court and the city of Crestwood, prior to receiving that land donation. Now, unless we have some unusual change order or something unexpected happens with the toll credits, we should not have to spend the balance of that. We have enough in land donation to finish the project, we believe. But Fiscal Court did commit to, I think it was $25,259 per
Great
lead.
project, thank you.
All right, are there any other comments?
We had the motion.
Right, we've had a motion and second on it, so if there are no other comments, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, took a little longer than I thought, but we'll take a, how long would you like that?
5 minutes.
5-minute break. It says 4:30. Let's meet at 4:35.
Before we take the break.